PromoEQP. We're doing another Got Your Back program. This time we have with us our very first company that we did, HPG. I have with me today Sharon Schiffelhuber, Nick Latour, and Mel B. Thanks everybody for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you,
for
Ian.
having us back for GYB.
A year's gone by since we last did this, and at that time we talked about how HPG as an organization has the distributors back. Has anything about how you approach this changed since we talked? Have you added or removed anything that helped or hindered the process? Have you doubled down on what was really working?
I would say option B. We've doubled down on what was working. This time last year, we were definitely riding the high of one of our newest technology developments that we had just released just a few months prior, which was our catalog customizer. One way in which we took 2022 by storm was that we amplified that, and we now have a new patent pending Storyboard Plus tool that has become all the rage with our distributors.
Oh, wow. Amazing. And distributors are using this now? This is available now?
Yep, this is available now. We rolled this out at the beginning of the year. And just over the last few months, we've just continuously been making improvements to it to increase the user experience, add new features based on initial feedback that we have received. We're really at the end of the day trying to save the distributors more time so they can spend less time searching and hunting and spearing for the ideas and the information that they need.
Awesome. And this is working across all of your lines, right? Like, so this isn't something that is exclusive or anything to Hub or Web or anything like that.
No, it's all on our HPG brand site, every one of them, with the exception of one small one, which is our premium brands. But yep, it's all up there. Catalog Plus was awesome last year. And there may be some people out there that don't know about it. So they really got to check that out and see the Storyboard Plus is right there as well.
That kind of leads me to, something we thought about, and we've actually discussed this quite a bit internally here at PromoEQP. You guys have been really good, a good example of how a bunch of different companies can be brought together under one corporate umbrella without sacrificing the individuality of each member brand. What have you learned about the best ways to do this? And what do you guys think you did that made this successful? And why do you think some other companies might have had less success doing basically the same thing? What makes you guys different in that regards?
I'll jump in on this one. I think the answer to that is actually similar to your first question, or one of the answers to your first question, which is at the beginning of, I guess, the pandemic, when things started changing, our team wasn't what it is now. I was recently on board. We had some other national sort of key figures join the team, and like any team, when you first start something, a new job, you got to kind of figure out who's doing what. And something that we did really well here was to figure out A, who's doing what, and then B, how can we get that messaging out. So we honed in on key customers, and we figured out, hey, look, I'm Nick, I'm your key contact person. Whatever you need, I'm going to be able to handle that for you. So instead of customers saying, well, who does this at what's happening at HPG, we were able to sort of like focus in and have leaders for all of our customers. So now we're just hitting our stride. As Mel and Sharon said, we've got tools. People know us better over the last couple of years. So I think it's just a very specific and purposeful focus that we have to make sure our customers can work with us as easy as possible.
When you bring different companies on, Org Audio, one piece minimums, quick turnaround, no setup, but Beacon, totally different. We have 10 different imprinting options. So you can't just lump us all in one, say, okay, this is what we're doing. Org Audio is not going to do one piece minimums anymore. We didn't do that. We said, okay, that's what they do best. And what does Hub do best? Well, that's easy. That's pens. We're not going to change what everybody's core is just to make it easier. Let's put us all in one factory.
People have not just a lot of respect for HPG and knowing they're going to be taken care of, but there's a lot of like, like fanboys for the individual brands, Org Audio. We got a ton of distributors who love Debco, and Beacon, and like, these are my folks, they're taking care of me, and yet it's still not seen as a bunch of competing brands. It's still seen as a unified HPG family.
Yeah, I mean, I will even say, I mean, there's definitely areas where at one point there may have been overlap, but, we've sort of looked at the whole HPG layout, and, at times we're like, okay, maybe this is a better fit at this brand than it is, at that brand. So we have looked to create a little bit more unison in terms of where our products, fit best. Mixie joined the family. Almost a year ago now. So Mixie was not part of the clan when we did this talk last year. They're our new health, wellness, and stress relief arm of HPG. Um, they took some products, they ended up going, to Beacon, a better fit. So we've done some, reconfiguring, but, we're trying not to, again, rock that boat because we want people to still think of us individually and for what flavor we bring to the table.
Mixie wasn't part of that discussion. And when we talked last year, can we expect some other lines coming into play anytime soon, or is that like, you could tell me and then you'd have to kill me?
We definitely have to kill you.
I mean, we're not afraid of growing.
That's fair.
Right partner, right time, right fit. And that's really what all of the HPG brands, have been about. Everybody fits into, a different vertical market. That is one way in which we have kept HPG truly well-rounded.
The right partner, right brand, right fit. That's fantastic.
Just give her royalties for all the
There you
YouTube
go.
views. Just give her
Yeah.
royalties.
You guys have had a fair amount of acquisition and growth, and yet you haven't had any negatives from that, really, at least from what we've seen. You've been able to do that over a period where we've seen a lot of other contractions, especially the last 2 years have been really, really tough, right? And a lot of suppliers have had, and distributors as well, have had to look at every penny spent with fresh eyes, right? At PromoEQP, I've personally heard more from about suppliers taking a second look at things which had been seen as cost of doing business, right? Such as rebate programs or things of that nature. And those things are now openly being questioned in a way that I wouldn't have expected 4 or 5 years ago, right? We would have had to dance around the the subject of that kind of thing, and yet now people are I think they're looking at every penny as, okay, is this a penny well spent at this point? Is this going to make it a better product going out, faster shipping, faster stuff? Or is this just something that's going nowhere? And what is HPG's position on this? Are you looking at some of these pay-to-play kind of arrangements with fresh eyes, given the last couple of years? Or do you guys see this as a necessary evil from which we won't ever get away?
I think being strategic in general is kind of our focus. So, kind of a non-answer here is, we are evaluating all of our partnerships, all of our relationships, and we have some great ones that, we would never want to rock the boat. And frankly, because of the way our industry's been the last couple of years, and maybe the way the economy is and how we're doing business, it is worth a look. We're always keeping our eyes peeled, kind of like the acquisitions question. It's like, you know, right partner, right time, right deal, maybe. We're always evaluating our relationships with our clients, and we have some great ones too.
To Nick's point, we definitely we want to be strategic, and let's be honest, if giving uniform pricing helps to level the playing field and we can take that off the table and help the distributors make playing their game all about service, then it really just gives us, it gives us more skin in the game. We rise to the top. We just hope that distributors think of us as they're like looking at maybe how they're going to consolidate their efforts to spend more or less with a particular supplier.
In many ways, that's one of the big helps they feel they get from HPG is I've got a buyer, here's the event, here's the thing, whatever it is, and you guys are right there with suggestions. Hey, have you thought about X or Y or Z as far as a product lines goes? And not everybody does that, right? I think a lot of distributors have had to kind of really approach that. Maybe when times were good, it's easy to be an order taker, but when times are a little tighter, being there with a suggestion or asking more questions about, well, what is this for? Why are you doing this? Well, have you thought about, here's some additionals that might make sense. This is a, do you want fries with that industry? And I don't see that as a bad thing. I think I see it as a way to solve problems, provide solutions.
One thing that I truly love about, this team, and I will say it online and I will say it offline, is that we're really good at having each other's backs. And when I say that, each other, of course, and each brand, even if somebody is, doesn't necessarily maybe represent a brand, they still represent the brand. They are still, an ambassador. And we do a lot of, cross pollinating. We never have the, adage, waitress attitude of like, that's not my table. If we get a project, like we want to find a way to get all of HPG involved or as many brands as possible. So, we will share and make sure that, everybody is contributing and do so in a way that minimizes the burden on the distributor to, you know, call or send emails to multiple people.
So what's next for HPG? Are you guys as excited about this industry as I am? I've probably been more excited now than I've been in years about the potential growth and future of our industry, especially after coming out of the last couple of years.
I like it because everything, and we might have mentioned this on the last one too. The thing that we I think do better and differently than other suppliers is something that Mel mentioned earlier, that Sharon talked about earlier too. We were really trying to make it easier to be the place, the top of mind place with our sales tools, with the way our marketing team. We have an actual legitimate marketing team. I don't know that you could say that about most people in our industry, especially suppliers, right? The same type of advertising and marketing that works for everybody else doesn't necessarily work in our industry. But we have a very retail and solutions based marketing team that comes up with these tools, that has a different approach to our industry, frankly.
We are truly focused on the education aspect of what we do. Um, I love a good pun. So, we do want like the customer to feel like when they have left that meeting or that session, they got their degree in HPG. Seriously. They don't necessarily need to know every, SKU, that we offer. They're not going to remember that, the new Javelina comes in 5 different colors. But they are going to remember how in 5 minutes we just showed them how they can potentially save. Hey, maybe it's an hour of their day that they saved. Maybe it's 10 minutes here, maybe it's 10 minutes there. So that, whole teaching someone to fish, so, they don't have to stop and constantly reach out to somebody.
At the end of the day, our customers should have their PhD in HPG. Now, do I get paid for that one? Can you use that or no?
Dr. Nick?
We might have to make a little running list here and then we'll send it over to you.
When we were going back last year's, Mel was the queen of the soundbite. Like she had so many like perfectly little like grabbable sound bites. They were like, oh man, they could put that on a T-shirt. Like that's perfect.
What you have to know about Mel, like Mel is our wordsmith. She's in charge of all of our little, Nick is in charge of our Mondays and all of our videos, but Mel is the one.
You know what? Speaking of bites, Sharon, I think that's a perfect segue. Speaking of bites, Sugar Spot.
Yeah.
Was not on the map last year.
To the table.
Well, tell me about it.
Nikki Wonka?
So you've got the shirt on, Ian. You've got the Batch and Bodega shirt. We entered the food world in 2020 with our fantastic food kits that are highly customizable at a one-piece minimum. Just really kind of took the industry by storm as a different way to sell food and to be impactful there. But there was a gap. There was like this sort of $3 to $20 price point in the food world that we couldn't fill with these awesome kits, and for all the right reasons, of course. But we figured out how to do that. So we launched a new candy company this year called Sugar Spot. The idea of Sugar Spot is to have the highest quality premium candy delivered in a very Oregadio or Batch and Bodega way, right? Very low minimums, no setup fees, make it easy for you guys to order, highly customizable, and just the best overall experience for the end user customer. Sugar Spot, basically, if you've ever heard of Sugar Fina, we're using the same exact candy that Sugar Fina uses for their candy fills, for their jars, and for their packets. We've got a taster pack in a couple of jar sizes. We also have a gift box that we can package and deliver the candy in. So it's just offering that high level of service that we have at HPG, but for candy and making the recipient feel super special. I love candy, so I'm excited about it.
Here, make believe you can taste it. I'll just hand it down to you and just, get the whole thing of maybe a chocolate chip mint kind of ice cream in a candy.
And that you've already launched that, right?
Yeah, we launched it earlier this year. The last couple of months is when we really did the full-on grand opening and push. Events are back as we're all seeing, so we're selling a lot differently this year than we have been in the last couple of years. More bags, more trade show giveaways, and frankly, more candy because people are out consuming food. They want something good. Nobody wants Skittles in a crappy little cello bag, and I guess that's okay for the right situation. But I want to feel like I don't know, maybe I have a weird fetish for candy, but I want to feel like when I get something in a jar that it tastes good and then I feel happy about it. And then I feel happy about the brand that just gave it to me, right? So our approach is to really make the food, the candy consuming experience just much better than it
Oh
currently
man,
is in
that's
our
killer.
industry.
Because you guys knocked it out of the park with Batch and Bodega. I mean, I really love the setups and the way you guys put everything together. Like, you had that like the pancake one that was really cool, and there was like an extra bit of thought put into there. It wasn't just toss some stuff in a box. Here's a sampler.
Well, one thing we've learned is how we receive a promotional product is sometimes way more important than what we're actually getting. So the packaging, the delivery of it, like when I open a lid, there's a note on top. I'm already like, this is cheesy. I swear to you, I get goosebumps thinking about like something that's just for me, that was made specifically for me. It makes me feel special. So now I love the branding that's on this box or the person who sent it to me.
I mean, we've got your back.
That you do. Um, what else you guys got going on?
Actually, I got one more thing. So in the food world, we have a new food that it's a new way to build your own kit. We build a custom kit configurator at Batch and Bodega. The same great snacks, all the snacks that we source. We're not going to Costco and scraping Cheez-Its and Snickers bars off the shelf and putting it in a crappy Uline box. This is food that Jason Lukash spent a year traveling the country talking to these individual small batch family owned makers, a lot of women owned, minority owned companies that are making these delicious snacks. So they all have a story, they taste a little bit better, and you can feel better about consuming and buying them, of course. So we have all these great snacks, and over the last year, we've sold a lot of those snacks in bulk. People really like the Rice Krispie treat. I'm looking around for one, but of course I ate them all, so there's nothing here. Um, People want more of those though. I need 50 more than just the Rice Krispie treats, so we'll sell that in bulk as just a food item. And we kind of got this like light bulb. It's like, why don't we just let people build their own food kit? So we built this really sophisticated system by which you can choose your own kit, slide over different food items into the box. It'll tell you exactly how much your kit will cost. It'll tell you, oh, sorry, that won't fit based on the box size you choose. And then you get this huge custom label on top. Again, for low minimums, like talking about 12-piece minimums and very great, very reasonable price points in there too. So you can build a truly custom kit. We have curated boxes, like Sharon said, where we have these really great ideas. But if you just want straight up the best food of all time, and you want to just go pure snack with it, this kit configurator is really awesome. It's the easiest to use kit builder in the industry. Nobody else has like a kit builder that makes sense, because there's like run charges and setup fees, and oh, you can't, and call your rep for more information. This is pure straight up click. Here's your PDF of what you just built. Here's your cost. Let's go.
So you guys are actually investing a fair amount in the tech behind all of the, like the storyboard thing, the catalog configurators. You guys see that as a long-term investment.
Not to go too deep into our internal stuff, but there's been a recent, like, really strong sort of proclamation made internally about, our the company that sort of runs everything HPG said, we want to make sure HPG is the best for years to come. So here's an additional investment in time and money and everything else to keep building on this really, like, sort of steep ramp. This momentum we've built going up this ramp is going to be pushed even harder now. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting.
I've been in this going on 15 years, and I felt like this industry had to be dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century, an industry that would still be doing fax blasts if people would let them do that. It's awesome to see a company like you guys, what do you want to call it, build your own kind of personalization type things that allows a distributor to go out there and look like they got it together. Like they're putting together like custom programs for their buyers, and nobody has to know that. Well, they've got all this tech behind them from HPG, but the distributor knows.
I mean, we definitely take inspiration from things outside even this little industry universe, that we're living in. And what does somebody do when they are using Amazon in their personal life? Well, they're creating a wish list. They're saving their favorites. They're tagging items that they want to go back to. They might buy again. So that's just one example of how, we're even looking at our website and just feature packing it so people don't have to go anywhere else. We want them to come to HPG. We are truly creating a dependency, for the distributor to not want to look elsewhere. How can we take this and take it to the next level?
I think it's what you're doing. I think it's having these type of tools for distributors, having those distributors be able to look their best presenting your products.
We've added a team that actually Mel leads, so I should probably let her talk about it. It's called HPG Edge. And HPG Edge was built as one place for your large orders. Any opportunities over $50,000, whether it's a program or just one big order, we have one team that's going to go and pick from all of our HPG brands to make sure you have the right products, the right pricing, and the right presentation. We actually will build a nice deck, whether it's from Best or BCG or Beacon or any of our companies. We're going to make it all really nice and kind of serve it to you it's like a white glove concierge service for the larger orders. And Mel, I can let you go from there as you're the director of that team. But
And continuous improvement is really at the center of what we try to accomplish, year after year. So taking what we do best and making it better. One area where we needed to continuously improve is helping people navigate, those brands. We don't want to disrupt any relationship, whatsoever. But again, we want to make that journey a little bit more seamless. So if a customer does have a project that has the potential to cross over multiple different brands, we like Nick said, we want to treat it like a concierge service. I think of HPG like a resort. We have the golf course, and we've got the beach, and we got the swimming pool, and everyone wants to experience a little bit of everything. How do we sort of usher them through that, and give them the whole experience without having to change hands too many times? So what we've done with HPG Edge is, we take on cross-brand projects. We have one person to sort of handhold throughout the entire ideation process, like Nick mentioned. We will source product. We will gather any pricing that is needed. any documentation that's needed. If a customer, needs a compliance document or a safety document, they don't have to go to different people to source that information. They're just dealing with one person for those large projects. And it's just really, it's created a path to ease, for customers, and makes them want to, return for future projects.
And that's come about in the last year.
Not even the last year, really just within the last 6 months. So it's kind of like the Starbucks secret menu of HPG right now. Is we haven't really released it out to everybody, but we do have customers who come to us, with these multi-brand projects. And, a lot of times what we might find is that we're all blind CC'd on an email. So instead of everyone just, pouncing, we have one person to sort of direct point and say, okay, we got this. We're going to tackle this from an HPG, um, you know, angle. And, of course, when it's time, we'll bring in other members of the team when they are needed. But we're just trying to take the friction off of, those project experiences when the customer, needs a lot of information and a lot of items, and it's usually in a very short window of time before they need to turn it over to their customer. So,
Well, I just want to thank all of you for being a part of this. It's really great to have Sharon, Nick, and Mel back with us. HPG being the first company that we reached out to do one of these a year ago, it's really cool to kind of catch up again and see, okay, in the last year, where are we at? Are we back? Are we kind of back? Are we almost back? It looks like we're back, and,
We're
and
back.
again,
we are back.
absolutely. It's the thing that makes me the most excited about the future of our industry is seeing exactly this. I can tell from talking to you guys. Yeah, it's back and we're ready to go. We're ready to do business.
I mean, even just to coordinate everybody getting on here virtually was a challenge because everybody is now, off in different directions.
Yeah, if we, maybe that'll be the video overlay here. Is I'll scroll through all the back and forth emails that Mel and I had going back and forth, trying to figure out a date and a time to get everything working. But again, thank you guys so much, Sharon, Nick, Mel. I appreciate it.